You know, oftentimes I wonder how many of us and how many times do we leave the classroom while the lesson is still being taught because it's hard or triggering, or just brings up an air of uncertainty in us, something that's a little scary. And in that, I'm relating it specifically to marriages and thereby divorce. Because when I put side by side my own personal experiences up against things that I've heard people, seen people, read about people going through, I realized, man, if I hadn't stayed in the discomfort in those moments, and some of them lasted much longer than others, there would be so much about me that would be different. There'd be so many levels and so much richness and so much wisdom that I wouldn't have if I had walked out of the classroom while the lesson was still being taught. If I didn't have something that was worth fighting for or worth sticking it out for or worth changing for, I too would have walked out of the classroom while the lesson was still being taught. And I was just thinking of it in terms of, I know a lot of people that hit the 20-year, some even 15-year mark in marriage, and they decided to get a divorce. And it just had me wondering what about it, or what percentage of irreconcilable differences are things that could have been overcome if the two of them were able to sit in the discomfort long enough to learn what needed to be learned. Now, of course, this does not go for all divorces, but I've seen a lot of things. I've listened to a lot of people tell me their stories. And like I said, when I butted it up against my own experiences in my marriage, it made me think, man, had I let go at times where I was uncomfortable, there'd be so much about myself that wouldn't be as good as it is. There'd be so much that I wouldn't have learned that could take me throughout the whole of my life, not just in marriage. And so as you go about the rest of your week into the weekend, I want you to ask yourself, is it really time for me to exit, or am I about to walk out of the classroom while the lesson is still being taught?